This is the SS Ultimate Goku back with another video. So I'll reintroduce it. So, as we all know, there's a lot of things that have come out. So we're gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna start showing some stuff. So here we go. And again, as I said in the last video I did on CM Punk, for the update, this is rumor and speculation. None of what I'm going to say is 100% accurate at this time. I don't claim it to be, like biased wrestling journalists will, when they, put out their shit, which half of it's hogwash. There's that. I wanted to pull up one more document here before we get started, but I can't seem to find it. One that, the stupid one that Dave Meltzer put out earlier today, or yesterday. So I can, just go over it here, just so we have a little bit of where we at right now in this, and shows you how obscure that he is as a journalist. When I seen this, I laughed and chuckled, to be completely honest with you. When I heard about this news. Okay, so this was one that was from the wrestling. Okay. So, here we go, and I'm gonna start putting this up now. Okay. I'm gonna start putting this up now here. If I can go back to my thing here. Okay, here we go. So we are going to put the thing on here, and we're going to take this off. Okay. So all people can see this. I'm actually going to enlarge it, just so people see it. I'm actually going to enlarge it, just so people see it. I'm actually going to enlarge it, just so people see it. I'm actually going to enlarge it, just so people see it. Okay. I'm going to take this off right now. My avatar will be taken off for a second. Actually, no, I don't even need to take him off. Do I? Do I need to take him off? Okay. No, I don't need to take him off. Do I need to take him off? Okay. So here we go. So I want to talk about some of the first things that are coming out here. So I just want to kind of give a recap, and so I'm going to give this guy on Twitter a shout out here, Killer Brooks. aka at CM Line Trunks. This guy gives you kind of a little rundown of the situation, really. So so we're just gonna recap stuff first before we get into the nitty gritty and all the good shit. So here's where we're at. For anybody who doesn't know, if you've been somehow living under a rock for the past month, CM Punk, Elite, of Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, got into a scuffle following All Out's pay-per-view, where CM Punk was in the main event against Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley, where he won the AEW World Heavyweight Championship for the second time in his AEW career. After this, he immediately went into a press conference where all the quote-unquote wrestling journalists were in attendance, and Punk said some controversial things to said journalists, as well as people that were around him, wrestling and Tony Khan. And so because of this, after that, allegedly there was a fight between the Elite, Ace Steel, and CM Punk. There's many stories that are going around. I led to believe the CM Punk side of it, where the Elite and Kenny Omega busted CM Punk's locker room down, where they confronted him and started shoving him, which ultimately led to a fight, in which Ace Steel decided to allegedly throw a chair at Nick Jackson, and Punk, I guess, punched Mike Jackson, and then Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega. Now, Ace Steel has claimed that the reason why he did this was due to the fact that his wife was in danger because she already had an injury, and she was in Punk's locker room basically caring for Larry the dog, which is CM Punk's dog. CM Punk's dog was at the event, which we know this because we've seen footage before All Out even started. So we do know that Larry the dog was there. So after that, it gets fuzzy, and then the first AEW Dynamite happened 3 days later on Wednesday, because this was a Sunday pay-per-view at All Out, and it was in Buffalo, New York, which yours truly, doing this video right now, went to the event, and did get a CM Punk t-shirt there, but did not get to see CM Punk because of this whole thing. So, since then, there's been no mention of any of the Elite, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, Ace Steel, as well as CM Punk. And that's how it's been. They both were stripped of their titles. The Elite were stripped of the trio tag titles, and they were given to other teams, like Pac and whatnot. And then, of course, CM Punk was stripped, unfortunately, of his world title. And then there was a tournament, and Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley, eventually won that tournament. To my disarray, because it should have been Daniel Bryan. But nonetheless, that is where this is currently at, in terms of the wrestling side of this. In terms of the legal issues, supposedly there's supposed to be an independent investigation on this, and legal issues as well. So here we go. From Killer Brooks at CM Punk Trunks. This is the recap right now. So, Quote, here's a timeline of the events that occurred since Hangman out of the Workers' Right promo on Punk, since people are having a hard time understanding. So here it is. This is the this is what CM Punk said back on May 21st. He said, doesn't matter if your opinion of a coworker is positive or negative, stand with them, because that they'll do the same thing to you and you wish someone help. Trust me, you're expendable. Together, you're unstoppable. End quote. That was what CM Punk said back in May. So, for contents, it was a direct reference to a tweet Punk made a few days earlier relating to Sasha/Naomi walking out of WWE, which is understandable because CM Punk did the same thing. He quit WWE and walked out. Never came back on the night after the Royal Rumble back in 2014. Sasha Banks and Naomi did it because of creative differences with the women's tag team titles. And they were the current champions as well. So this is how this kind of whole kicked off. So, 2. Up until this point, there were no stories floating around about the Punk/Cabana relationship causing problems in AEW. We knew their situation from the past, but it wasn't a relevant topic, at the least, not in the media. It was actually the opposite for a while. Check the dates. So here we go, and this is what he shows, and this is a note on potential issues regarding Punk and Colt working relationship. During a recent edition, biased Dave Meltzer commented on what the current situation between Punk and Cabana. Punk and Colt were longtime friends before. It was well documented they had a fallout and sequentially legal battles. Despite these issues, they exist between the two. There are nothing there as far as any issues. They could arise between the two in the locker room. Meltzer would go on and note that both Punk and Cabana are absolute professionals. For what it's worth, Punk and Cabana are not the first duo within a wrestling company to have issues, as some have compared it to Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle in TNA. This is a fact. There are, at the end of the day, wrestlers don't have to like each other. They don't. As long as they are professional and they work together, when they have to do matches and whatnot, it's completely fine. Brett and Shawn did it for a while until that blew over with the screw job and whatnot. That's just usually how it is. And like I said, that was The Observer. Here's another one. You can see it for yourself. It basically is the same thing, just reworded. Basically, Colt and Punk, there was supposedly no problem, according to the wrestling journalist. So then, 3, the promo that airs on May 25th. Again, keep in mind that this tweet was 3 days before 3 days before this promo on May 25th. When Punk and Hangman Adam Page started to do a promo on, or to start their feud, basically. Well, actually, they were already in the middle of feud. This is the first time they were face-to-face. Okay. After this, 4, these articles came out about Punk and Cabana, with the narrative being him possibly being involved in Colt losing his job, quote, or being moved to the ROH because of his pull in the company and the relationship dynamite. So here it is right here, and this is from Wrestling Inc. Again, talking about how they can't coexist. This is another one from Wrestling News. Colt being pulled from AEW programming because of CM Punk? ? So again, this whole narrative about Punk and Colt really started after that promo. So you can understand why Punk is frustrated at this point, because these wrestling journalists are trying to fucking bury him. Okay? So then, 5, they have their pay-per-view match. A few days later, Punk unfortunately gets the injury, which costs the summer of Punk. He injures his foot, as we all know, and is out of the picture meanwhile, with these articles being spread by many fans, and apparently even some wrestlers believe Punk was responsible for Cabana's situation. Again, this is what happened. Everyone was on this whole narrative that Punk was getting Colt fired, okay, which wasn't true at all, and Tony Khan denied this multiple times. And yet, still, Dave Meltzer and all these biased wrestling journalists, I'm not saying all of them are, but I believe Sean Sapp reported it, Dave Meltzer reported it, biased people. I'm not a fan of Sean Ross because he blocked me for, criticism, which is it wasn't even that bad. I mean, one criticism point on him, and he blocked me for it. So, fuck him. That's all I gotta say about Sean Ross. I've said more worse about Dave Meltzer than anybody else. I don't even think I've really said anything about anyone else besides Dave. So, that's my thing on Sean. I don't give a fuck when anyone says that he's a nice guy. You know, people can be dicks behind closed doors. So, that's all I got my opinion on him. So now number 6. Punk comes back after 2 months, and in his first promo, he throws a shot at Hangman in response to what he said to him in the last promo. While it was petty, which he admitted before he said it, Hangman's promo was doing more damage to his already mixed reputation, which this is true. This is true. 7. Reports have been coming out consistently since Punk came back from injury about backstage drama and personal issues of some revolt around him, and fans have been talking about and even some trolling him at events, chanting Colt's name at him. 8. At the pay-per-view scrum, Punk is in person with a lot of people that have been writing about him for months. These press conferences, right? Okay, these AEW pay-per-view press conferences, they have all these wrestling journalists. Dave Meltzer's there, Brian Alvarez is there, Sean Ross Sapp is there. All of them are there. So when people say, oh, this was not the right time to do it, I can totally understand in Punk's mind why this is the right time, because they're the ones for months while he was out injured were saying all this bullshit about him. And now he is at the podium with them there. Why wouldn't this be a perfect time from his perspective to go off on them? Okay, and set the record straight. Felt this is the opportunity time to address the things being said about him, since people are turning against him and he hasn't said a word, so he gives his side of the story. And this guy then says, I don't have all these, just putting out some of the things that whatever. And he ends it with, I can understand the frustration with your rep on the line. And it's true. His rep is on the line. People don't seem to understand, with these comments, it easily can screw up a wrestler's reputation and their pop, especially when you're the top guy, which Punk is. Okay? So that's kind of where we're at right now. This is where we're at right now on this. Now for the juicy stuff. Okay. So, I was actually going to get to that. This right here is a bombshell. This is a bombshell right here. I was not expecting to see this. So, shout out to James Threeside, YMT or at Jamie3Sides on Twitter. Also, go to this. Like, I'm not going to show the whole interview, but if you want to see the full interview of Tony Khan talking to this guy, go to that link. I might even put in my description so you guys can see it, or you guys go right to it. But I'm going to just play this clip right here that he put out, which is a bombshell. Now, in this interview, he asked about, the CM Punk situation, about the media scrum, and he said no comment, which is usually what he does. But then, in an unrelated question, he actually name-dropped the Bucks, Kenny, and Punk. And this is straight from Tony Khan, so you can't say it's all made up by the wrestling journalist, because this is straight from Tony Khan's mouth, who is the owner of AEW. So here we go.
You asked me about putting the show together before, too, and to touch on that, I mean, it's all put together, and there's a lot of people I'll run stuff by, but, I'm trying to talk to a lot of different people about ideas. I'll sit down with a group of people, like, on timing the show, making sure I have all the breaks right, because we have to make sure we get the commercial breaks in the show, because that's important, because that's how you get paid, and that's our job. And then, of course, announcer copy and more specifics, transitions, wraparounds, and things like that we put into the show. But I'll come in with an outline, and I'll sit down with, Tony Schiavone, QT, a couple people backstage. Sanjay has become really valuable. And then there's a lot of people throughout the years, that you'd go to, whatever their stuff is. I think there's specific people, even if they're not working in an office job per se, that you'd go to, like a Chris Jericho, Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, and of course, people who are working, even office jobs, like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and CM Punk. And
right there, did you hear what he said? Did you hear what he said? Did you?
That would come in with ideas.
Did you hear what he said? Now, before you want to say that he is saying something and misinterpreting it, he specifically name drops Jericho and Danielson as guys that don't necessarily have an office job, but will take their opinions and advice for booking decisions. However, he specifically name drops CM Punk in the same category as the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. He didn't have to do that, and you know what? He hesitated too. He hesitated, but still did it, so I know this is the truth. I know this is the truth. He didn't have to name drop Punk. He did not have to name Punk.
Are working, even office jobs, like Kenny Omega and the Young
Office job.
And
office jobs, which, again, as we know, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks are EVPs. They've publicly said this since the beginning of AEW. But yet, here we go. CM Punk. Right there. CM Punk. He specifically put Punk in the same category as Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Which means, based on what he said, straight from Tony Khan's mouth, even this interviewer was shocked by it. He was totally thrown off by this. He said, valid question. It seemed weird because you assume something like that would be known with full transparency. Contracts, amount, and all the stuff in them aren't privy to us for the most part. Right there, he was even thrown out because, again, earlier in this interview when he asked about the media scuffle, he said he didn't want to comment about it, which is what Tony Khan has been saying since everything happened. Okay? But yet he specifically name-dropped him, which he didn't have to do that. He did not have to name-drop Punk there. But he did. Which changes the game. Because in that media scuffle, one of the biggest criticism. I mean, there was a lot of criticism about the media press conference. The press conference. One of the biggest criticism of that press conference is what Punk said. About, him right next to his boss saying, "I have a fucking business I have to run." Implying that he's like the owner. Because that's what Tony Khan would say. Because he's the boss, right? Yet CM Punk said that, and a lot of people thought that was unprofessional and disrespectful. But now, this kind of holds more weight. This holds more weight because if Punk is an EVP, secretly an EVP, like Kenny Omega, like the Young Bucks, he is in the same rank as them. He is in the same rank as them. Which means it completely is understandable to why he would say that. If he's actually a goddamn EVP. Now again, I don't know if that's true, but based on what the owner of AEW is saying, it seems to be that way, since he said that he has an office job just like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. He even hesitated to say that, which is why I know this is true. He hesitates and says, CM Punk. He's like Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, pause, CM Punk. He just throws that right out there. He throws it right out there. That is a bombshell, bro. That is a bombshell. And no one would have known that had Tony Khan not done that. Even the interviewer was shocked by it. He was totally caught off guard by it. Because no one thought Punk was an EVP. I think more people really need to talk about this, and that's why I'm talking about this, because this right here was a juicy thing that we discovered with this interview. Again, go to Jamie 3 Sides, go to this link for the full interview. But this was just something that I had to talk about. Very, very juicy. Another thing I want to bring up, because this was something that was reported by Wrestlingnomics Comics, I guess. I don't know who these guys are, but shout out to them. I don't know who they are, so sorry. Oh no, Brandon Thurston. I think I know. I've heard of him. I've heard of him before. I don't know him personally, but I have heard of him. I've heard of him through the website, so yeah. I guess he's part of the Wrestlingnomics. I don't know what that is. Like I said, I don't pay attention to most of these guys. But here's what I seen here. And this is what really caught my eye. So, remember last night on AEW Dynamite when the Acclaim came out and they proclaimed that the Acclaim were the #1 merchandise sellers in AEW? That wasn't true. CM Punk is the #1 merchandise seller. But, obviously, they haven't been mentioning CM Punk's name since All Out because of the suspensions, because of the media scuffle. So, they went to their #2 merchandise seller, the Acclaim, and proclaimed that they're the #1 merchandise seller. So, I do believe this is true. I believe that some people are not believing that this list is true. I believe this list is true because, again, AEW Dynamite last night proclaimed that the Acclaim, which is a tag team, they proclaimed that this team was the #1 merchandise seller in AEW, which makes sense because they can't mention CM Punk's name right now because he's suspended. Same thing with the Young Bucks and the same thing with Kenny Omega. They can't mention their names. So they went to their #2 merchandise seller and proclaimed that they were the #1 merchandise seller. But in reality, they're only #2. I want you to see these numbers right here. All these people, they're top guys. The Blackpool Combat Club, which is, Daniel Bryan, freaking Dean Ambrose, a.k.a. Jon Moxley. I don't know who gets a cut of this since it's like kind of a team. you know, Cesaro and all that stuff. You know, none of these guys make nearly close to as much as CM Punk makes. None of these guys have even passed 3 million. CM Punk is over 4 million. Number one guy in their company. Kenny Omega doesn't make shit. As a matter of fact, what actually... See, I wasn't surprised CM Punk was number one because I knew he was number one before I even seen this. I didn't need confirmation, but since I do have confirmation, I'm going to just show it anyways. But what shocks me about this list is that there's only one female on this list, and it's not Britt Baker. Britt Baker is their top female in their company, yet Britt Baker's not even in the top list. Sheeta is. Sheeta hasn't been used on television like I think in a year. I think I may have seen her 2 times this year on AEW. Now, I know she was the AEW champion for a while. The AEW women's champion for a while. But she hasn't really done anything since she lost that title to Britt Baker. And yeah, she's the only female on here, yet they're not positioning her in anything. She's selling more merch than Britt Baker, and yet they're treating her like garbage there. Like someone who, the top female merchandise seller should be in the storylines, okay? If that's what your audience, if your audience wants Sheeta to be in, you know, actual storylines, and they're buying her merch, I don't know why you don't put her in a match. FTR is a little down, which doesn't surprise me since they haven't been doing shit with FTR for a long time now. Like, they stopped booking them back in I think end of May when Punk was still there. They just started bringing them back as a tag team, which is just insane. You know, FTR is their best wrestling tag team in their company, and yet they misused them. That's the only reason why the Acclaim surpassed them, by the way. If FTR had been wrestling all through the summer in AEW, they would be ahead of the Acclaim right now. They were massively over. They were getting so many goddamn reactions. It's not even funny. But then, all of a sudden, they were pulled. So, that's why their stock dropped. But you know what I find also hilarious on here? The Young Bucks are not here. Now, granted, Kenny Omega is on the list. But he's low. Same with Hangman. What this tells me right here, there's no way CM Punk is leaving the company. There's no way Tony Khan is going to pay back this money and even more to pay out his contract. Plus, even since the suspension, Tony Khan is still selling CM Punk merchandise at the arenas. I was in Buffalo. His shirt was still there. And there were most recent sightings of CM Punk shirts at Dynamite and Rampage. So, CM Punk is here to stay. They haven't been selling any of the Elite, the Young Bucks or Kenny Omega merchandise at the arenas. You can still buy them online, but you can't buy them at the arenas, but you can still sell Punk ones. So I just want to put this out here to all the Twitter mob that want to get Punk fired. Guess what? He ain't going anywhere. Fuck you. You guys are the minority. You are the vocal minority. The majority, the silenced majority, are buying CM Punk merchandise. So if Tony Khan doesn't need these quote-unquote founders. Cody Rhodes moved on. Guess what? He can move on from the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. He already has top guys. He doesn't need them. He proved that since they've been suspended, that he doesn't need those guys. Okay? So, CM Punk ain't going anywhere. I'm telling you this right now. So either Kenny Omega is going to play ball and apologize to CM Punk, or they're going to get out, which is why they're quote-unquote putting out WWE fillers, because Dave Meltzer reported that, right? Biased Dave Meltzer reported that, and then the next day he said, oh, that didn't happen, because he's got the Elite are in Dave Meltzer's back pocket. That's why. So they made sure that they didn't do it because Tony Khan has the whole tampering thing going on. So there's no way they can actually officially contact WWE. So that's why Dave Meltzer all of a sudden put out that report that it wasn't true, which is, it's bullshit. Dave Meltzer's just biased towards the Elite, as per usual. So yeah. So as we all know from my last video that I did, this is what happened. Okay, or this is the rumor. I don't say that this is 100% true, but this is the rumor. Is that basically Tony Khan knew about the injury and planned this match at Grand Slam. Again, I doubt he knew the injury that he got during the match or during the media scuffle. That wouldn't have made sense. However, Hangman was supposed to basically interfere and injure Punk, which would have set up MJF to win the title, and then when Punk would have came back, he would have feuded with Adam Page, and Adam Page would have been a heel. Adam Page and Elite, Omega and the Bucks strongly disagree with Tony Khan and CM Punk. Again, I bring this back. If this is true, they should be fired because they're not listening to the boss. Tony Khan went with CM Punk's opinion, and the Elite didn't like that, so they bitched about it like Click and crybabies. And if this is true, they should be fired on that merit alone because they're not listening to their boss. This is why the media scrum happened, where Punk went off script, stating that the EVPs couldn't manage a target, with Adam Page not wanting to work with Punk, so MJF could win, which would sell the real-life feud between Punk and Hangman, which, again, would have made sense. But, of course, Hangman didn't want to play ball. He didn't want to be a heel because he's a little dick, which is why I'll never cheer for him again. Not that I did anyways, because he was the worst drawing world champion in AEW history, which is a fucking fact. MJF would be champion right now, but the Elite and Hangman ruined that. Which Hangman is now the number one contender for the belt, but this is just so Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose, can just basically beat the shit out of him. Which, you know, based on the AEW Dynamite promo, I think that's literally what this whole thing is Jon Moxley is just going to basically own his ass and beat the shit out of him. Just so they can get the receipt, because he was the one that basically started all this drama to begin with. Yeah, he wasn't at the media scuffle because he left early, but at the same time, he's the reason why all these top guys are now suspended. So Tony Khan ain't happy about this. So I think Tony Khan did this on purpose of making Hangman the number one contender, so he can beat him up, because obviously Jon Moxley isn't losing in his hometown, because that's when this match is supposed to take place in 2 weeks in Cincinnati, Ohio. So that's basically what's going to happen, is he's basically going to just basically sandbag him and beat the shit out of him. And then he's just going to move on to MJF, who is, you know, again, this is basically a filler feud. This is basically a filler feud just so Jon Moxley can beat Hangman and put him in his place for what he did. And then he'll go back to the mid-card like he's been doing for the past couple of months. And then Moxley will move on to MJF at Full Gear. I'm assuming it's going to be at Full Gear, the next pay-per-view for AEW. Since he has a guaranteed title match. MJF is rumored to wanting out of his contract due to the Elite pushing for Hangman. Now, I don't think MJF necessarily wants to go out of his contract. Supposedly, he's getting a raise, but also still out at 2024, January 1st. And will be a free agent. Don't know if that's actually true or not. And again, MJF would deny it anyways. Let's face it. MJF is the best heel in the past 20 years, or probably even longer than that. So it doesn't really matter because MJF will deny this stuff anyways because MJF is that damn good as a heel, which is why we all like him. We like to hate him. Or like him. But, that's what's great about MJF. So a little other tidbit here. Well, actually, we'll get to that later. We'll get to what this is. So this is other news here that was reported. Once again, Dave Meltzer and all his biased fortitude. So basically, an uncooperated party reportedly threatened legal action, delaying AEW's investigation into the backstage altercation between Punk and the Elite. Now, this is kind of a stretch. I mean, you could still do an investigation regardless. But I guess because they're not, coming into interviews, then I guess they have to delay it, I guess. But you could still interview other people in the meantime. But I just hate this headline because this headline, again, makes it seem like it's Punk because Dave Meltzer, again, is biased towards the Elite. So Dave Meltzer, once again, is kind of stretching it out. Now, someone brought this up to me when I was talking about this bullshit earlier on Twitter. But someone brought up to the point that it possibly could be Ace Steel that could be the uncooperating party. Because, I mean, if his story is true that his wife was in the locker room trying to, watch over Larry the dog, and she already had, some type of injury already. Obviously, she wasn't wrestling, but, she's not a wrestler. But, she was just there to watch the dog while Punk wrestled. If this is true, then obviously Ace Steel, being her husband, is going to want to try to step in and help her woman, help his wife, from getting hurt. So, if this is the case, I kind of can understand why he may have thrown a chair. I mean, I don't agree. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he should have thrown a chair. I think he should have just started, trying to punch him or something or whatever, or push him or whatever he had to do. But maybe in that moment, it was just kind of quick thinking because, maybe the Bucks were too close to his wife or whatever. Who knows what happened in that instant, of what he was thinking. Now, the whole bite mark, because Kenny Omega was seen on, when he was doing that Target thing where you could see, where he was trying to pretend to be at a Target cash register or whatever. You could see that bite mark or whatever he had, which a lot of people aren't talking about this fact. But most people don't bite people for no goddamn reason, okay? Sometimes when people bite people, there's usually a reason. And based on where the bite mark is on Kenny Omega's arm, it does go on the possibility, and not many people are talking about this, which is a shocker. I'm being sarcastic, by the way, because Dave Meltzer won't actually report it. But there's a possibility that Ace Steel was being choked by Kenny Omega. And so he bit him out of desperation, which again would make sense because if you're choking somebody, that's where his bite mark was, where Kenny Omega's bite mark was on his arm. That's where a choke would be applied. That's a spot where a choke would be applied where you would be biting the guy. So to me, I think there's a possibility Ace Steel bit Kenny Omega out of desperation to get out of the hold that he was being choked out of. Which is something, again, the wrestling journalists aren't fucking reporting, which again pisses me off because it shows how biased that they are to not even think about this as a possibility. Because it's obviously the most sane possibility for why another human being would bite somebody. But of course, according to the wrestling journalists, that's not true. So here's what it says, according to biased Dave Meltzer. The investigation into what happened to the Fallout proves to be a slow and tough process. The physical altercations between Punk, Ace, and the Elite send ripple effects through the AEW locker room, with many people having different opinions on how the incident went down. Everyone involved in the fight remains suspended, and it is unclear when we will see them back on screen. The third-party investigator, yes, there was a third-party investigator brought on for this, into the events is still ongoing with Tony Khan unable to comment on the specifics of the case. Through Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Biased Observer has noted that the process has been haunted by looming threats of legal action. We have been hearing, quote, we have been hearing a decent amount of people in this past week largely threaten legal action has stalled everything and nobody has been let go, including Ace Steel. There is no time frame for anyone to return at this point, end quote. Dave Biased Meltzer. It appears that not all parties are helping to make that proceeding easier, with Meltzer also stating that one of the parties have been uncooperative. Quote, one person has threatened legal action and have been uncooperative. We don't know which side of the dispute is holding up the process by threatening legal action, but AEW will want the situation to be smoothed out as soon as possible. Oh, boy. And again, the way Dave Meltzer puts this out there, it makes the Twitter mob assume that it's Punk. Because he also put out a couple days after the media scuffle that, quote-unquote, Punk had threatened legal action. That he had threatened legal action against the Bucks and Kenny Omega, which we don't even have actual confirmation if that's true. We still don't know if the story's actually true that he's trying to report. Because, again, Dave Meltzer is biased towards this entire story. He loves the Elite. He's a mark for the Elite. Okay? All right? This dude overrates these guys like they're like God messiahs. Okay? I'm not even kidding. And that's my biggest issue. Okay? Again, if you guys like Dave Meltzer, which honestly I don't know why people do. He's the biggest con artist in wrestling for journalists. But if you actually like his newsletters or whatever, for whatever goddamn reason, you can't trust him on this. You cannot trust him on this particular story because he has been biased every step of the way. He put out false bullshit articles that started this drama with the Cabana shit, and now he's doing it even after, which just proves CM Punk's point during the press conference. Okay? Which is why I tell people, look, even if you somehow like this guy, you can't trust him for this particular story, okay? Because he is clearly 100% biased towards the Elite, okay? And that's just the fact of the matter. He won't even consider any story that may be true for the other side and, positive. And that's the biggest issue. So, fuck Dave Meltzer. And, that's my thing about him. Also, I should bring this up too, because this happened yesterday too. This now, granted, this is not related to CM Punk, but it does kind of go into the whole idea of what's going on right now about fights in AEW. So now, supposedly last night before the AEW Dynamite, live AEW Dynamite / the taped AEW Rampage, since they did both shows at once, Andrade was sent home, but Sammy Guevara was not, even though they fought each other. Now, there were like promos that were exchanged prior to Dynamite, a couple days before, but then they decided to have backstage heat. So I want to also clear this thing up, because a lot of people have been saying that CM Punk was the one who started this locker room drama, which is bullshit, because the drama had been starting before Punk even got there. There had been drama looming, which ultimately led to Cody Rhodes leaving, by the way, for WWE, once he got banished to the Codyverse and was, basically buried by them with the stupid Arn Anderson promo. He was booed, and the fans wanted him to turn heel, and he refused. And so he went to WWE, and now he's even a bigger star. But he signed an NDA to not talk about anything, because Cody Rhodes is a former EVP for AEW. But now he's with WWE, so he's not an EVP of anything anymore. He's just a talent for WWE, a wrestler for WWE. But TMZ reported this about, Sammy and Andrade were involved in the backstage altercation. We've been told incidents have been backstage at Dynamite. Sources have said Sammy allegedly pushed Andrade and punches were thrown. According to sources, it was unclear who was hit. This is not a storyline. There was back and forth. Sources, several wrestlers are pissed at Sammy for publicly airing his personal / private issues, and things just boiled over at the arena. Andrade posted somewhat of a cryptic message on social media. Respect me and I'll respect you. Now, there are stories conveniently the next day trying to retcon the story and say that, Andrade was actually the person who instigated the fight by, ironically enough, Mr. Biased Dave Meltzer. Go figure. I don't believe this. TMZ got the scoop. Now, TMZ isn't a wrestling journalist site. They are a general celebrity journalist site, sports. They're pretty much everything. They do everything, but they don't typically cover wrestling unless it's something really big. And this isn't something that I would have viewed that big for wrestling, but they got it. And they got it a couple hours before the live Dynamite. And then, of course, the next day, everyone was saying, fuck you, Sammy, during the broadcast, because he was in the main event of Dynamite and won the tag team main event match, getting the pinfall, which people were even more pissed about that he didn't get sent home as well. But now Dave Meltzer, because he's got cold feet, because TMZ, who don't give a damn about what the wrestling journalists think, they got to report it first, and now they're trying to retcon the story and try to turn it around that Andrade didn't, he instigated the fight, not Sammy, and that's why he was sent home and Sammy wasn't. I think this is a bunch of bullshit. But again, it proves this whole thing that CM Punk isn't the like instigator of like the whole locker room drama, which is what Dave Meltzer and all these biased journalists have been doing. And another reason why I don't believe Sammy is because he already had another altercation just a couple of months ago with Eddie Kingston, which I think they both got suspended for that one. And let's not forget, he did have the thing that he said to Sasha Banks, which I can't say on YouTube because of the community guidelines. Now, again, he was apologetic to that, and Sasha did accept his apology. But at the same time, he claimed that was when he was younger and he was still immature. But I would argue that Sammy is still immature, despite it being a couple of years. He hasn't really shown growth, okay, because obviously he's still getting into fights with people and he's still trying to pick fights with people. So obviously he hasn't really grown if, this is the third incident that we're hearing about him. Okay. So that's my biggest issue with this. So I don't know where this will go or how severe it will turn out to be. But I just wanted to throw this out here. This doesn't really relate to CM Punk, but it relates to the whole idea that the locker room drama was because of CM Punk. CM Punk's not even there right now because he's suspended. So you cannot blame CM Punk for this drama because Punk isn't even there right now because he's suspended. So, again, Punk didn't start shit in terms of the drama. And I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover on this. Put this out here. Besides YouTube, I do have the Twitch. To follow. Instagram, all SS Ultimate Goku. I also do have my Discord stream. Discord, for discussions, fictional media of live action movies, games, cartoons, anime, live action movies, TV shows, etc., all that crap. Go to that Discord link. All that will be in the description. Instagram, SS Ultimate Goku, follow. Twitch, SS Ultimate Goku, follow. And obviously the YouTube, which you're here for that. Majority of you people are here for the YouTube. Subscribe, bell, all that good stuff. Thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll try to split it up for all the information from the first hour for people to see. And that's about it. I am the SS Ultimate Goku. Peace!